programs out there now and so many new programs coming out, and she's really excited about all the stuff she gets to shop from now. And there's some great deals with, you know, one of the lenders that we use has their own MI company. So, you know, it's $50 less on MI than anybody else out there on the market. So make sure you're keeping yourself educated and informed on, you know, what's out there in the market too, to help your buyers get good deals, because they are starting to freak out about the interest rate, and they're going to shop, and they're going to go shop at Rocket Mortgage. You don't want them shopping at Rocket Mortgage. So make sure you've got enough in your pipeline and enough, you know, products out there for buyers to choose from too when your lending pool and the lenders that you're using as well, because there may be a product out there, maybe they don't qualify with one person or one group, but there may be a product that somebody else does. So you really do have to get creative. I know when I was listing and selling, I don't know how many deals I would have almost fall apart, but I knew my lending pool, and I would switch that buyer to another lender that I knew could get it done. And so there'd be many times when you have an agent on the other end or a lender on the other end that just didn't quite have the right program or didn't know what they were doing, but I knew enough to know who to send that person to so we could get the buyer done. And I know Matt's having a problem with one of his condos right now because it's has too many delinquencies for FHA. so it's been a tough thing. So hey, let's look at the lender pool and see if there's anybody out there that's willing to loan on that, because you're getting a bunch of showings on it. You just can't.
So I found 2 lenders yesterday that could do it.
You did?
Yes.
I was gonna say, I have a couple.
Awesome. So good. So that's a help. But I mean, it's getting creative and thinking outside of the box, and especially when you have buyers and they're not qualifying for listings, make sure you know enough to just because it's not your buyer doesn't mean you shouldn't know a way to get them there.
Sandy, if I can bring something up. Years ago, when the rates were so low, well, they were just recently too, but if your customer, your seller has an FHA loan, you know it's assumable, right? They have to qualify, the buyer has to qualify, but most likely, I would say all the time, the buyer, so they may have 3.5% interest rate, and the buyers may be interested in knowing that.
Able to assume it, especially if they
Yeah,
know.
they have to qualify, I mean, you know,
Right.
you have to check with
They have
that
to
lender,
qualify, and they have to have enough down payment if that person's
Yes.
trying to get enough
Correct.
equity out of the house. But if it's only been a few years, absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you be able to
Great.
put that in the
Creative.
description in the MLS, assumable wording?
I'd be careful with that, but you could say FHA, possible FHA, I wouldn't commit to that.
Yeah,
Unless
because the
you talk to
person,
the lender.
yeah, because the person does need to qualify, and you gotta.
Yeah,
do
there's
a
guidelines,
discussion on
but-
that, so.
It could potentially spur some people.
Sure. So it's really about thinking outside of the box. You know, we have to get a little bit more creative as things change. All right, so I'm going to go on to the next topic here, which is grow your business and build influence in your community. A little bit of what Gary was just talking about.
If I can go back to when I first started, I was exposed to Brian Buffini. And at the time, the program he was offering was called the Mayor Campaign. And it affected me deeply. He said, you really need to make sure that you make your intentions true. I'm not just here for a sale. I'm here because I want to be here. I'm not just a member, I'm an active member. I started by using the Maumee Chamber of Commerce. I joined and I immediately started volunteering for the positions I knew no one else wanted to do. But when there was a summer fair, I took the position to be there at 5 in the morning to help set up cones, to help set up booths, and to be a part of that because I knew that that was probably a time that no one else really wanted to be there either. So what a great time to be able to kind of commiserate and be able to support each other and just develop relationships. Volunteering with people and I'm shoulder to shoulder and we're setting up guardrails for booths or we're setting up tables. We're there to do a task. We're here to volunteer. So I intentionally left real estate out of my introduction. I wanted them to know that I was there for the right reasons, and I am. So then when the question came up, hey, so what do you do? I'm a real estate agent. Oh, really? Now the questions can start to come from them And it's not me shoving real estate down their throat. It's me answering their questions because now they're genuinely interested in me because I'm generally interested in them. I decided that I wanted to be able to take information and get it out there to people that needed it and wanted it. So I make these videos and I try to find the topics that are going to be interesting to the people that are going to be watching them. Is it the school superintendent? Is it going to be the Lucas County auditor who oversees the area? Is it the mayor of Maumee? Is it the mayor of Sylvania? Are there things that I'm seeing in the paper or reading on the news that seem to be of general interest to people? I'll take those things or interview those people and get that out to them so that they can get a greater understanding of what's truly happening. So then I take those segments, I put them on Facebook, and then I will target specific demographics. So in one case, it may be one particular city. In another case, it may be a shotgun blast more than a rifle shot, and it's going to go to an entire 10-mile radius. It really just depends on what I'm trying to get out to the general public. So if I go out and I get a billboard at one of the busiest intersections in town, people will see my picture, they'll see my phone number, and they'll see some catchy phrase on there, but how many people are going to look at that and say, well, I know Eddie? Nobody's going to know me. And I might get 1 million people to look at me, but how many people am I going to get to be able to actually call me? Through video, now they can see what I'm all about. Outside of video, most of the things that I do are more from the standpoint of just getting involved. I just created an ad that went into the Maumee High School musical that's coming out. I am a part of the Maumee Athletic Boosters. I volunteer for events to be able to hand out ice cream or to scoop chili at the chili cook-off or help set up things for whatever events are going on. I think that's where people just get to really see who you really are as a person. In my little community of Maumee, 14,000 residents, I sit on the Maumee City Planning Commission. That was a position that's not elected, it's not hired, you don't get paid for it, it's strictly volunteer. And I made a connection with the mayor through the Maumee Chamber, and 2 years later he called me and said, hey, how would you like to get involved? That's perfect for me. That's exactly what I wanted to accomplish. All of those things are reflections upon my character. They're only going to hire me if they trust me. When I'm talking to a client, I want them to know I don't want your business, I want your referral. If I've done my job well, you're going to send me to your daughter. If you're willing to send me to your kids and you trust that I'm going to take care of them the way I trusted you, well, that's everything.
Are currently in, I know Gary's in Rotary, how many of you guys are currently in some sort of networking group? So if you're not, I would say, find something that you like to do and do it. Or if your kids are involved in something. I know Greg does a lot with the kids' sports and now the golf team and all that kind of stuff. It's, getting out there and doing things that you enjoy doing. Book clubs. I know there's some people, that are in book clubs, and maybe it's 8 or 10 people. It doesn't have to be a community of 100. Those 8 or 10 people that you're with all the time that get to trust you, that's 8 or 10 referrals every year. So, I would maybe, as part of your activities here today, write down what is something that you like to do, what is something that you're interested in, and even if it's not a long-term commitment, but you volunteer for, I love the bike ride thing that they have in blocking on the Tour de Frederick, that's so much fun with the big wheels and all that. Go out and just volunteer for something like that. But to be out there and in the community with stuff that you have fun doing, it comes across, and just like he said, you're then making relationships, and that's a huge deal. I think for every single person who's in real estate. I was the Cub Scout mom, I was the Brownie mom, I was in Rotary, I've done the Chamber of Commerce stuff. For me now, I'm always at FCAR and doing, volunteering for FCAR and Women's Council and those kinds of things, because for me, my sphere is agents, and I want to be, around you all and bring information back. So it's always thinking about how can I be, and not just sitting in front of Facebook. It's gotta be out face to face and building those relationships. So does anybody have any ideas or wanna share anything on that? Peggy?
Well, I'm part of I'm coming off the Women's Council Board, so I can actually do more with my other networking groups. I do a quarterly networking group. I have about 40 people on my list. So the one I have coming up, I have 25 so far that are coming. And the last time I did, I got 2 referrals out of it. I also have been asked I joined the Women's Business Network. Because I went out and I went to probably 10 or 12 different networking groups, and I went a couple times to each one, and that was just the one that kind of resonated with me.
Yeah.
So they've asked me to be on their board next year. And, I was like, oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I've already gotten a couple referrals from them. I've been in there 2 years now, so they're really getting to know me. I've started going to the chamber events, and I'm actually looking at Rotary as something to really get involved with. I know there are a lot of other agents that are in Rotary, but that's okay, because not everybody's going to want to do business with everybody.
Right.
So,
Gary, how much business would you say you get from Rotary? I mean, just going every week.
Probably 3 to 4 a year.
3 or 4 that you would never have without
Right.
those relationships. So again, it's just how do you add more into that pipeline?
Another thing that I think is pretty good is trying to get your card into people's hands without forcing it on them. I was taking a sign down this morning, that's why I had mud all over me. And here come a couple way down the street walking their dog, and they said, hey, it's a household, we were talking, jibber jabber. I said, oh, by the way, here's my card, I never helped it. I mean, don't force your card on them, just gently give it to them. The insurance man was there, he was taking pictures of the house, and we're talking about different things. I said, oh, here's my card, I never helped it. I mean, just kind of gently give your card in your hand. I try to do that. It doesn't have to be real expensive looking people, just average people walking on the street, just put your card in their hand.
Yeah, that's the 20 conversations. You said you had 2, right there just from taking the sign down and being out and about. Nancy?
I think if you have a passion, you take that passion and you just exploit, your, that gut feeling to it. Of course, my passion is horses, right? And for many, many years, I've been involved in, horse activities, and I've gotten lots of business. But I only hear this. And
Yeah, I
I
heard
noticed
that
on
on my pen
the video, that's all he had was, and this balloon is so powerful. I mean, it really is. I go to the grocery store, and his kid, he's back there, he says, how's the market?
Yeah, you kind of forget. I know I had my name tag on the other day, I was out doing, so I totally forgot I had my name tag on, same thing. They were like,
Yeah.
how's the real estate market? I was like, oh.
I do the same thing. I wear my name tag everywhere I go.
So do I.
And when I go to my Bunko group once a month, at first, I would just wear the little realtor pin. Because I've been there 10, 12 years. I've gotten at least 10 referrals out, and I have 3 more coming up next year. So,
And you're right, the balloon is so
It's
recognizable.
so powerful.
So you don't even have to, you don't want to have your name out there for safety or security reasons or whatever, but people
Well, of
always
course
recognize
people
the
know me.
balloon.
I mean,
Right.
they do know me.
Right.
But you always have to remind them what you do. I
That's
mean,
right.
knowing you is one thing, what you do is the most important thing, if
Right.
you want business from it.
Right.
So without just pushing my name, this does it all.
Right. Lisa?
I was gonna say, one of the things that we learned in the buyer conversion momentum class a couple weeks ago is that every person that you talk to knows 5 people that are gonna list or purchase in the next year. So think about that every
Wow.
time
I'm gonna write that down.
you make a decision to walk away from a conversation, potentially walking away from connecting with any of those people in their sphere. So every person knows 5.
So it's about the conversation, right? And keeping up with those referrals and your sphere. All right.
And it's also not just getting them to, it's more getting that the person you're speaking to call you with their the contact information for the new person, and getting their permission to do that.
Right.
Because what, I love Brian Buffini's evolution of the card.
Right.
You know, the odds of those people that I gave my card to you, and you're like, oh yeah, you stick it in your wallet, you stick it in your back pocket.
Right.
And if it makes it through the washing machine and the dryer, can you read it? And even if you stuck it in your wallet and you look at it 3 weeks later, you have no idea who this is, you have no idea where you got it. The odds of you calling me are minuscule.
Right.
And when you tell people that, they're like, oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. So then,
Right.
I mean,
Get that
that's a
person-
phenomenal conversation.
Right. Do you mind if I give them a call?
Right, exactly.
Touch base.
I've been seeing, something that, because like a lot of times I work with younger, buyers and sellers, but, even a Facebook message, introduction.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
like really, really, it's the equivalent of an email that you're CC'd on, but,
Right.
Mhm.
it's kind of, easier and quicker, and,
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy just to send that person, hey, I'll send you a friend request, and,
Right.
let's connect over coffee or something. It's not
Right.
intrusive, but,
Right.
it's,
Yeah,
it's
that's
personal.
worked for me too.
Yeah.
It's one of the 20 conversations you have today, so kind of keep that in mind. If I have 20 conversations, and then do maybe a check-off of, hey, how many conversations have I had today? And if you do listen to Buffini or Tom Ferry, they're all about, you don't even go back home until you've handed out your 20 business cards or you've had your 20 conversations. You better, maybe you're standing in line at the grocery store to have your last 5 conversations, whatever it is. But just getting in that mindset of that constant being out there. All right, this last one is your third, and this is of course what we're always talking about, is going the extra mile to generate referrals. And this is where it all comes from. I can just tell you all, when the market did tank many years ago, tons of agents got out of business because they didn't have the fundamentals. They were trying to think about, I gotta spend more money on internet leads. I've gotta, go out and buy some lead source thing. The people who survived that market were people that had a good, solid system that generated referrals. I'm just across the board. I lived it. We had offices shutting down. We had, agents leaving because they thought you could just put a sign in the yard and make all this money and do business. But the people who had the fundamental systems down are the people that are still here today. So I just can't, we teach it, we preach it, I just can't say it enough. To have that system in place is huge. So here we go.
In the beginning of my career, I was very much transactional, right? I was just transaction, move on to the next, transaction, move on to the next. Not because I was trying to devalue the client, just because that's the way I was taught, that's the way my brain worked with real estate. And then once I started realizing that I needed to hone in to my past clients, that's when I started to really change the focus. So I created as an individual something called the Team Super, my client care program that was maybe about a decade ago. But basically the idea is we touch base with our clients every 45 days, 30 days, sometimes could even be 90 days. And we're offering them different services through different vendors, whether they need snow removal or landscaping. We have a reason to reach out to them. The way we build relationships and engage people is trying to think outside of the box and do something very differently, right? So part of the client care program is everybody on our team is a notary public. And I've never met a realtor that had that on their business card. What a great thing to be able to offer. And we always say, the team knows, we come to you, you come to us. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be anything that's real estate related. If you go into your bank or you go into a place of business and you want something notarized, so many of the banks will turn you away because it's not something that, it's on their official list of things that they can notarize. And so it doesn't matter to us. The key is to provide the service. We provide complimentary tax assessment appeals. So we help 40 to 50 families every single year appeal their property tax assessments, save them on average $1,000 to $2,000 a year, charge them nothing for it, and they love it. They become raving fans, right? It's setting yourself apart, showing that you are relevant and that you're differentiating yourself. That's the name of the game, is just, we're not realtors. We are psychologists, psychiatrists, we're comforters, we do everything we can in the business except for being a salesperson. People have to remember, time is money, we all know that, but it's how you spend the time and with whom you spend the time. We have 4 client appreciation events. We then get to speak to our clients when we're doing the invitations, when they're there, and then after the event. We're sending out about 700 snail mail invites to these 4 events. We're actually getting more referrals from people that did not attend than that did attend. So it says to us that the people that are receiving it are appreciative of being invited. It's just that simple. And then all of a sudden, as people in the public see that and that you're engaging the public, they realize that you're authentic, like I said before. And that's the key. We'll bomb a lot of clients. We'll do a mass bomb to groups to let them know about a different property that might be coming on, or a different event that we're having, or a different service we're providing. We've even used bomb as an example to set up a series of seller and buyer videos so that every single time during an actual transaction, the transaction coordinator will send out that video that corresponds to the next step in the transaction. We don't tell them we're going to do it, we just do it. And then they feel like they're never out of the loop. And then the other thing we do on Facebook is we'll do a live interview, so we'll do a live testimonial. Hey, Tom and Sally, we're here at your brand new house. Tell us, what do you think of your new house? And they're telling us what they love about their house, which is great because then it's very much interactive. And we don't script them. The clients never know what we're going to ask them. We just ask. A couple of things we do different on Facebook. So like most agents that we know, and I train on this, I teach realtors this, because I want them to improve as we have. Don't just throw up a picture of a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath colonial and say, hey, just listed this 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath colonial, because guess what? You might get a like, you might get a comment or two, but when you do that, people feel like they're being sold something. So instead what we did is we created something about 5 years ago now called Team Super Mike Trivia. Here's a brand new listing that we just put on the market, or that we're putting on the market. And we put maybe 2, 3, 4 photos on Facebook. And then once we put those 3 or 4 photos on Facebook, we say, what town is it in and what's the price? Price is Right rules count, so don't go over. And then we'll award the prize the next day at 4 p.m., right? And it could be tickets for a Devils hockey game, or it could be a $50 gas card. What matters is that you announce the winner exactly on time at 4 o'clock, and then you put a link to the home. What we do is we engage every single person that hit that link to find out more about the property. Now all of a sudden it becomes fun, and we have 50, 100, 200 people guessing, and then that spreads to their news feeds. And then we'll have sellers contacting us saying, hey, we want to list with you, can we be on that trivia thing that you have? And that's when you realize you're onto something. So it's just thinking a little bit outside of the box that most people are not doing. And those are the types of things we try to do to engage the public that we think are interesting based on the feedback. It's all about making sure that we're staying in touch with these people. We try to have 28 points of contact every single year with every single client if we can do it. And the idea is that they'll remember us with their referrals, but more importantly, even if they never refer us, that they didn't feel like we earned a commission and then we waved goodbye to them.
Good stuff, huh? How many of you guys are using BombBomb at all? Videos?
Once in a while.
I think,
forget
I know
to do it.
it's hard because people freak out, and believe me, when I send out a video, sometimes it's a 3-minute video, but it takes me 20 minutes to do it because you mess up a bunch of times. But you'll get halfway there. But you just be genuine, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And I really do think, especially in this texting and Facebook world today that we have, that face-to-face you know, conversation does set you apart from the rest of the crowd. So BombBomb has great deals for you all as RE/MAX agents to sign up with them, and it's easy to do. BombBomb's the best one out there. I mean, I know you can YouTube videos and stuff like that, but BombBomb just has it ready, have your contacts in there, they'll upload them for you, and you just shoot out the video. So makes it very easy. I loved his trivia thing. How many of you guys like that?
Cool idea.
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome. Anything else you guys are doing that, you know, this is about getting, you know, going extra mile for the referrals? You know, we teach in the referral momentum class, 33 touches. Buffini is 33, 28, 33 touches. It really is that consistent touching, you know, of your client. And if you're doing Buffini, you get the box that tells you what to do every single month. So if you don't want to reinvent the wheel, that's the one, of course, we teach and have everybody do. But if you are going to reinvent the wheel, make sure you have it be consistent. Don't take so much time. Don't make it so difficult that you end up not doing it, because that's the way that I see most people fail. Or I'll walk by your guys' offices and I see 4 boxes of Buffini stuff that haven't been sent out. It's like, oh, gee. Did you keep in touch with those people every 30, 28 days? So anything on that? Any quick tips?
I will say, definitely do your Buffini mailing, whether you call these people or not. If you send them out all the time, I actually talk to people who say, I do read them. Now you get people like my daughter who doesn't, you know, that's just, I know, but I have gotten people who, you know, I sold a house to 3 years ago that I probably talked to once since then. But those mailings went out every month, and when they got ready to buy a new house, they called me.
Joyce,
And-
you were gonna share?
Oh, yes, so for buyers, I do an open house party, and then for sellers, a farewell party. So then I'll invite 30 of their friends and family, and then I'll door knock the neighborhood and invite the new neighbors to the party or let them know who they are, of course with their permission first. And invite them, and then I'm there for the party in the background, you know, working the party, you know, serving drinks, appetizers. I'll do a Sunday brunch or a cocktail party. And then just thank them for coming, and, you know, someone's always talking about real estate, so it's just more of a gentle sell, of just a way to get your name out there and connecting with people. And then I'll put them, if they share their information with me, which they will, from the buyers or the sellers, because I'll have their email address or their address, then I put them on a constant contact, send them a magazine, send them a cookbook card, just, you know, just touch them with mailings. And I've gotten a couple listings from it.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
it's worked.
Yeah, great ideas. Okay, so I know we're getting, we're past our time of 11 o'clock. So what I want everybody to do now is to write down 3 things that you're gonna do, that you're gonna implement in the next week or 2. We'll give you 2 weeks.
Okay. Because I'm gonna be at NAO.
3 things. And then before you leave, you need to connect with your accountability partner as a time and, you know, a time when you want to connect to just say, did you do those 3 things? And if you didn't, why not? What got in your way? What happened? And you may need to set up a second accountability call. If you get 1 or 2, you know, continue to keep in touch with each other as much as you need to hold each other accountable to get those, at least 3 things implemented. Action steps. And it may be as simple as, hey, I make 5 phone calls a day, or I haven't been even making any phone calls a day. Now I'm gonna up it to 5 phone calls a day, or 20 a week. I used to be more of a, instead of every day, I like to chunk out a whole morning and get a whole bunch done at one time. That was just me, but, you know, the goal is the same. Okay, can I see a show of hands? Does everyone have their 3 things
Not yet.
that they're gonna implement? So hopefully you got some new ideas out of today and today's quick tips. Again, use your RE/MAX University as a resource. As you can see, I mean, I just did this 2 days ago. I typed in, getting more referrals, getting more listings, and this stuff shows up. They're 5-minute videos that can give you some fantastic ideas right there online. So use the resource. It's free. You guys have it. Just go into Max Center, RE/MAX University, and pull up, the content. So if you're feeling stuck, like, well, what can I do today? I've done everything and I still don't have the leads that I want. Go find some more information, a new idea, a fresh idea to keep you motivated and energetic and in the game. Helpful?
Yeah.
Good. All right, thanks, guys.
Can you announce